What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're doing a special live stream, ladies and gentlemen. This is a serious topic. This is for my community of Midland, Texas. Very alarming situation in my city. Christy, you there?
Hey, Nino, I'm here. How are you?
Sis, we were, going about, hearing about this. It's a crazy situation, ladies and gentlemen, happening in our city. It's come to us, to our doorstep, and I'm gonna, kind of leave it at that. Christy, we were reached out to. Someone wants to tell their story about this certain situation in Midland. Christy, before we get the line over to our special guest, Christy, something about Midland. We're finding out there's corruption, from top to bottom. Sis, have you ever seen anything like Midland? I mean, you live in Florida. Go ahead.
I've actually lived in 3 different states, and I have not seen anything like this, Nino. And but the thing is it's not just like one branch of anything. It's the whole political arena there. It is like court orders aren't followed. Politicians do what they want. DAs do what they want. You have detectives that aren't doing what they're supposed to do in their job description. And I have never seen anything like this before, Nino, just ever yeah, I've just never seen corruption like this ever. And it just reminds me of like something out of high school, of cliques that get together and decide what they are going to do and what they're not going to do. And it's just wild to me.
Okay. And with that, great point, sis. It is like a high school here. And as I said earlier, basically people, anyways, we're going to kind of leave the personal stuff, y'all, for now. But anyways, we have a special guest. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. So real quick, can you let everybody know what's going on with the Midland book situation? I thought this was kind of finalized a while back when the concerned citizens went to speak about this, but a lot of people right here do not know what's going on with the book situation. Can you go ahead and start from the beginning?
The library.
Yeah, the library. Sorry. Can you go ahead and start where you feel comfortable, where we can get this story from front to back, so we can all, make our own judgments about this? Go ahead.
Okay, sure. But first, Nino and Christy, I want to thank you both so much for offering some time tonight on your platform to go ahead and get this information out. It's important, it's necessary, and this is what the youth and the children of our city deserve. I also want to let you both know that my husband is here with me, and he's going to walk through this interview with us.
Okay.
And he's just been one of our main supporters. So really, it goes all the way back to March 13th, 2023, this year. Main supporters. Our commissioner's court got to.
Hold on. Sorry about that. Can you hear me? You there? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was pressing the button over here. Press the wrong one. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So this was back in March of 13th of this year. The commissioner's court had gotten together and to discuss some obscene books and inappropriate material that was found in the youth and children's section of our public library.
Court orders aren't followed.
Material that was section of.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. And at this meeting, parents and concerned citizens, we had teachers out there, and I know you were out there that day. We all spoke about how we feel about this inappropriate material in the youth and children's section. After that day, what we were told was that we could fill out a library reconsideration form, which I know a lot of people that filled them out. The people that did fill them out received a certified letter from the library stating that we would get an update on those books, and they would let us know what happened to the books that were reported in those reconsideration forms. After that, nothing. I know some parents personally came up to me and were telling me that they sent emails. I had some people trying just to meet with the library director, and there was no correspondence. So all these concerned parents that spoke on the 13th of March, and just other parents that from word of mouth that picked up on this, that filled out forms, were just sent a letter, and that was it. We didn't know what was happening next.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's kind of what I do sometimes. I'm sorry. I ask with respect to forgive me, but the books, real quick, before we get to these, the rest of it here, what were these books that people found were something that they didn't think kids should, read, or they weren't age appropriate? Because I think I heard somebody quoting some of these books, and it sounded like, excuse my language, like some softcore porn. What was it about these books that are inappropriate, you think, for kids?
Well, some of the material had like a group teen group masturbation. There was self-harm. There was rape. There was teen on teen rape, and it was foul. It was disgusting. It was hard to hear when these books were being read. And let me just state, I am not for burning books. I am not for banning books. I do not want to trample on any of our freedoms and our rights. I'm not saying that that's what the city needs to do. What we are saying is that this material that is not age appropriate needs to be moved or out of the reach of these children's hands, because that's where a lot of the youth go after school, or whenever the parents go to work on the computer or create a resume. Their children are freely roaming around the library. And I'm talking about 12-year-olds that have access to this material that talks about rape. It talks about harming. If there is an age restriction on games and music and movies, why is it so hard to understand that maybe there might need to be an age restriction on material that is put out in the library? We're not saying to remove these books from the library. We're just saying put them in a more age appropriate, to where if the parents want their children to have access to those books, well, then they got to go and check it out for their kids. Their kids don't. A 7-year-old can't open up a book and see pictures of a kid holding a knife to their wrist. Why is that necessary in the youth or children's section? I don't understand. And I know how you are when it comes to your beliefs in politics. But it's so simple. We don't need politics, and we don't need religion to tell us that it is wrong for pornographic, obscene material to be put in front of these children.
I agree.
And so that we were told March 13th, fill out this form. We'll let you know what happens next. And we got letters stating that that we were going to be told what was going to happen with these books. We never got anything from that. Then come to August 14th, the Commissioner Court has another meeting there at the courthouse. And
let me just, it's important to note that we followed the process that the library had instructed us to do.
Okay.
Yes.
So they say there's a process for these books to be reconsidered. We followed that process. Nothing was done after following the process that they told us to follow. So that brings us to August 14th, and my wife will take over again.
Okay.
And so then here we are, August 14th. The Commissioner Court has a meeting. I wasn't aware of this meeting, so I wasn't there, but there were some people. If you go to the website, you can watch that entire court day. You can go, I believe it's like item number 77, and you can see what was talked about, what was discussed at that court meeting. They talk about the library directors board. They talk about a lot of things. And one of the things that they had talked about was what were they going to do with those books? Because nothing had happened yet. Well, they held a vote, and Commissioner Jeff Summers, he abstained from voting.
Okay.
Scott Ramsey had voted against moving the books. Luis Sanchez abstained. Commissioner Luis Sanchez abstained from voting. Diane Anderson voted to move the books. She is right now one of the only commissioners that I know for a fact that has been on top of this and is speaking for the parents in this community. And then Judge Terry Johnson, he voted to move those books.
He was the tiebreaker.
He was the
Wow.
tiebreaker. So August 14th, these
Okay.
books are there. These books are the library director is standing there and she's told, okay, these obscene books need to be moved pulled from the children's section. If you go into that video, you can also see Diane Anderson. She is reading a letter that she received from Senator Sparks and Representative Craddock, where they themselves are letting her know, letting our commissioners court know, we support you removing obscene, inappropriate, pornographic material from the children's section. So she read these letters from the senator and from our representative.
Okay. And real quick,
August 14th.
Okay, before we continue, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be honest. I'm Nino America. I'm saying, trash the books, get them out. I went and gave my raw speech up there. A lot of people gave their opinion and their statements there. But the whole point is, it's not to ban these books or burn them or whatever. We're gonna talk about these allegations made against this good group of homeschoolers and parents that care. But I digress. The point is, y'all, it's not to ban the books. We're for freedom of speech, even opposing views and speech that we don't, we're not gonna agree with. The point is, I think it's, like she said, it's not about religion or politics. We want to keep our children, safe from these kind of books, especially if they're not the right age. And I'm showing y'all pictures of these little cartoony books, whatever. But there's other books that they read up there, y'all, that I'm telling you. I mean, if you didn't blush, I don't know what to tell you at this point. So it's not about banning the books, right? Y'all don't want to ban them or burn them, correct?
No, go ahead.
No, absolutely not. That's one thing that we totally oppose. I mean, this is America. If you want to read whatever book you want to read, that's fine. But when it comes to a public library that your tax dollars and our tax dollars pay for, well, then it's under the control of us, the community. And if we, the community, deem like, hey, these books are inappropriate for children, we need them in this section, well, then it's our right as a community to have that power and that say, because we are the government, we are the community.
Amen.
It's our public library.
And then you're going to hear others say, well, it's our right to have that material in the children's section. Like you're going to hear both sides from that. But at the same time, inappropriate is inappropriate. If a child comes across something that's going to confuse them, it's going to make them feel bad. It's going to make them second guess who they are and their morals. Why is that around a child? It has no business. So yes, if you want it there, it should still be in the library, but not where somebody who is not looking for it will accidentally stumble across it.
Yep. To me, it's the same thing as the public library decides to play an R-rated film in the kids section. And, the kids are free to go in there and watch it as they please. Like, it's the same thing. Like, that wouldn't be allowed. So why would these inappropriate books, which are, quite frankly, R-rated in material, why are they there in the children's and teen section? It's just, it flies in the face of common sense.
Exactly. And another thing, you don't see like Hustler or Playboy or any type of inappropriate magazine in the children's section. So why on earth would rape, group teen masturbation, self-harm, self-mutilation be put there? You can't have a double standard. And I feel like the public library could do better. I feel like the community as a whole can do better. There's no reason. Well, Nino, let me just tell you. So August 14th, the court is voted and says, okay,
these books need to be pulled and they need to be reconsidered, and they're going to go through them and they're going to go ahead and deem, they're going to go through it with the director of the library and the board, and they're going to go over it, they're going to review it, they're going to be like, okay, where is this book going to go? So it's still going to follow a process, but these books need to be pulled beforehand, so they need to be reviewed.
Okay.
So that's
I'm sorry to cut you off. So Well, make
No,
your
go ahead.
statement because I'll kind of lead back to the court situation. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Um, so what I was going to say was on August 14th, that's what the library director was told to do, was just to pull the material,
Okay.
bring it, and we'll go over it and we'll figure out where it goes together.
Okay. So that's what I wanted to say. So that court hearing that I was at, and people from the community went to voice our concerns, they didn't say what they were going to do, or can you explain that so we can get a clearer understanding? Because, ladies and gentlemen, there's some more, scandal with this. I don't want to say shame on you, but shame on you, MRT, for slandering these concerned citizens. But we'll get to that point in a minute. Can you clear up exactly what was a ruling of the court, and then we're going to get on to the next part of the story. Go ahead.
So are you asking about what was the ruling of the court on March 13th or on August 14th? Because I
Just
can
to continue where you were, like on
Yes.
August.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So August 14th, library directors told pull the books. This is pull them. We'll the commissioner's court and the library director will go through the books. The library advisory board will go through the books together, and then they'll figure out where the books go. That was August 14th. Nothing happened after that. No books that we know of. No books were pulled.
That's what I wanted to know right there. So basically, they did nothing. They did not listen to the courts at all, correct? To the ruling?
Yeah.
To our knowledge, there were still books. Now, if they pulled some or maybe a little bit, who knows? But there were still books on the shelf.
And then one thing, if you go to the Midland Reporter Telegram and you read the article, I would encourage everybody to go.
That's the next thing I'm going to show. I'm going to show right now. I wanted to get to that point. So, talk about this. What happened with MRT? And guys, check this out. We're gonna get to this. Hold on, real quick. Okay. Go ahead.
So, Commissioner Anderson, what she had done was she had scheduled a meeting with the library director, and the library director, and you can go to this article in the Midland Reporter Telegram and you can see there where Commissioner Anderson is saying that she had a meeting with the library director and the library director didn't show up for it. After that meeting, what the commissioner does is she goes ahead and she lets us know the library needs volunteers. The library has not been able to pull books from the shelf. So volunteers are more than welcome to come and assist the library.
Oh.
From what I know, there was a handful of volunteers that went, and they thought that they were assisting the library. They thought they went with good intentions, and they thought that they were doing good for their community.
And y'all signed in. They signed in, correct? And they did everything by the book, correct?
That's correct.
From what we know, yes, that's what we know. That's what our sources tell us. And the thing is this: after that, after those volunteers went and they helped the library, they, like I said, they thought they were there doing good, and after that, what ends up happening in the Midland Reporter Telegram, the next thing you know, I think it was either that night or the very next day, these volunteers that volunteered with the library are being called Nazis, being called racist, being called bigots, being called what else?
Well, this story paints a picture that 10 crazy mothers
burners,
on their own accord goes into the libraries and just starts pulling books. Like, there's no mention of the process that had already been followed up to that point. There's no mention of the commissioner's court that had already ruled, like, hey, these books need to be pulled. There was none of that. They basically demonized these volunteers who were up there helping the library.
And real quick, I have it pulled up, ladies and gentlemen. It's the MRT. The Midland Reporter Telegram. Basically, I would say that this is almost close to doxing. I'm surprised they don't have the names here, but
I'm sorry to interject, but I want you to also note that after the Midland Reporter Telegram misreported the article, they went back and edited it, but they didn't even put the footnotes telling everybody what they went back and tried to change.
Wow.
One of my very good friends, she's an English teacher, and she was really good at taking screenshots of everything, and she was calling them out, and she was saying, hey, you edited this article and you didn't even put in the footnotes that you edited the article. It's still wrong.
And I want to say something about that, because this is the one part of the story that really got me also. So and you were absolutely right. So whenever they did that, it showed that the whole article had been edited, but did not say what it had been edited. And I feel like that the Midland, what's it called? The MRT?
MRT.
Yeah, the MRT.
Wow.
Yeah, that they even disparaged you on more than from the previous article, because then people were coming in and calling you fascist, calling you
crazy,
the burning book mom club. And so all that they're saying is that there's these people that are going into the libraries, pulling these books off the shelf, and none of this part about the courts, about it being over, about how many meetings had happened, any of that had been even talked about.
It was fake news, and I would think even a hit piece, to be honest. Go ahead.
Right. And so these volunteers that volunteered, they're wondering, how did this get out of control? Why is everybody so upset for the process that has been put in place? And why is it so hard for it to be done? Why is it that the commissioner's court can feel so easily bullied, and to the point to where on September 11th, this Monday, there's going to be another hearing about these books again. And it's like, why does there have to be another court meeting? The judge already spoke. He said, bring us the material, go through the material, we'll figure out where it goes, and then that's it. But now there they go again, having to have another meeting. It's ridiculous. They need to get, this city needs to do better. And I don't know what else to say about that.
And I just want to add one more thing. So after the August 14th meeting, we had someone reach out to us, and this goes back onto what your husband was talking about, that we don't know exactly which books have been pulled from the shelves, because this person that we spoke to that wanted Nino to be able to come to the August 14th meeting, but he had to work and he couldn't be there, had a statement from the librarian that said all those books have been pulled and now were kept behind her desk for discretion, but that if a child requested to check them out, that they could do so through her at any age. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about like the manipulations and the confusion and the corruption. It's like this big vicious circle that just devours itself. And it's like the head doesn't know the tail doesn't know the head. And yeah, it's just, it's something else, because that's what was told is the librarian, the head librarian, I can't remember what she said her name was, said that those books have been pulled and were behind her desk for discretion, to check out at discretion.
So you say that somebody had called and told you guys that back in August?
Yeah. So, yes, back in August, because they wanted Nino to be able to go to the August 14th, whatever
meeting,
it was.
the court meeting.
Yeah, the court meeting. And he had to work, so he couldn't. And then also, it tied into, when was the big event at the library? What were the name of the books? My mind's going blank.
With Cameron.
With Cameron Diaz, or not Diaz, Cameron.
Kirk
Cameron.
Kirk Cameron?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know. Are you asking when was it? Or
yeah, when was that? Do you remember?
Let me see.
It was about 3 to 4 weeks ago, and I was told again that
3 to 4 weeks ago.
That of course the library wasn't trying to promote that. I just gotta say something real quick, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't want to be too opinionated. I want to let this story be told, but I think there's an agenda going on in Midland. Just my opinion, outside looking in, but actually in this area, I think people are connected from different organizations. Even have infiltrated the public school system and the public library. So it's just kind of weird to me that you start looking at all this and start saying there's an agenda here. And then you start to think too that there are actors and people in this agenda, but I haven't yet, me and Christy haven't yet to divulge too much into that, but trust me, sooner than later. But do you think that's fair to say that something's going on here behind the scenes where I think the citizens of Midland are being bamboozled and there is an agenda being pushed upon the citizens of Midland? Do you think that's fair to say?
I mean, it's definitely fair to say. How I would speak to that is just, it's unfortunate that people like yourself, that's the opinion that's being formed because of these misactions. It just shows, because of these misactions that are being taken, now people are having doubts within their own government. That's the most unfortunate part.
Good point.
And the way that the outside, and I'm not being funny, looks at the Permian Basin, because I tell Nina all the time, y'all are crazy. Like I live, right outside of Tampa, and I see more things. I see more national breaking stuff coming out of Midland, Odessa, stuff like that, than I do out of a city that has 3 million people. Well, that includes the suburbs also. But yeah, but the whole reason that I brought up the Kirk Cameron thing was not to bring up, that type of book or anything like that, was to bring up that, once again, the librarian had said that the other books that were supposed to be removed were behind her desk, to be checked out at discretion. So 2 different times now this has been said. And just like you said, sir, that's where the misconfusion comes in. And, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think this is what, when I gather my thoughts, this is what I just hear. I know that all of us, I'm talking about all of the Permian Basin, we're not all ever going to agree on politics. We're not going to agree when it comes to religion. We're not going to agree when it comes to any type of personal lifestyle. But one thing that should be so clear and simple is that when it comes to what is best for the children and the youth, I'm talking about that the library considers 12-year-olds a young adult. When it comes to anybody under the age of 18, we should be doing what's best for them, what's right for them. That's one thing that we should all agree on. Any age, for 17 and under, you're still considered a child. We could, regardless of anything else, we should at least come together and say, you know what? We don't want rape novels in the youth and children's section. We don't want suicide. We don't want any of this just pornographic, obscene material. It's not going to benefit. It's some people are going to argue like, oh, I remember there was an individual that said, oh, these books need to be in the children's section because maybe a child needs to read this type of book so that they'll understand that what happened to them was wrong. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? You really think that a child needs to read a filthy, vulgar book in order to realize that something is wrong?
No, because any kind of parenting, regardless of what side you're on, teaches about safe and healthy touch anyway, or inappropriate thoughts, or any of those things. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what side of the political realm you're on. None of that matters. It's about it's
morality,
having that communication and communication with your kids. And my thing, and I can't remember which one of you all brought it up, but it's like whenever you brought up the movie thing, what would the community do if Nino America or you all or whoever said, hey, we're going to have movie night, but I'm not going to tell you what kind of movie it is. And like you said, throw on an R-rated movie for all these kids. Look at the backlash that would happen from that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I gotta interject. My son is 11, and my son is still very innocent. And for them to say 12 at the library that they can get these books, and I'm just showing y'all these little cartoony ones, y'all. The ones I heard, ladies and gentlemen, they were very vulgar. I don't know how they can allow 11 or 12-year-old to go check this out. I mean, I don't know, no parental permission. I don't know. But like I said, my son is 11. He's very innocent. I know a lot of kids are further advanced, or some parents don't care, but we care. And the citizens of Midland are upset. Let's get on to the next situation here. So what do you want to divulge any info you want to about the upcoming situations where we are calling for the community to come stand with us? And it don't matter what side of the political aisle you're on or what your religious affiliation is. I just think we need to stand for morality, and let's help, keep our kids innocent as much as we can, and let's not just allow them to get their hands on filth. I mean, it's already out there, as it is now. We're still trying to fight to contain and to help, not lead them that way. I'm trying to keep my kids innocent. Like, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we say. I like my kids to be kids. But what do you have in the future? Can you tell the people what you're calling for and what kind of help the community of Midland needs? Go ahead.
Sure. So I agree with you when it comes to our children. Their childhood is such a short amount of time within their life. They have so much. They're gonna be adults, and they're gonna be adults longer than they ever get a chance to be children. And the longer that we can preserve that and postpone that for them, the growing up part and just the eyes opening to the cruelty of the world, the better off that they'll be, because then they would be able to experience childhood. It'll just make it that much more precious. So what I want to say and what I want to encourage is, on Monday, September 11th at 9 a.m., the Commissioner's Court is going to meet again in regards to these obscene books. Even though it's already been voted to pull them for further review, for some reason or another, they still they're going to have to go through another meeting. And it's ridiculous, but I don't like it. But what I'm asking is, any concerned parent, any concerned grandparent, any concerned aunt or uncle, if you care about what is in the youth and children's section of the library, come out to the courthouse, be prepared to speak your voice. And I'm talking about not crazy, not radical, just with a heartfelt message of how you truly feel about what's happening within our community. Keep your politics out, keep your religion out. Nothing happens whenever things start breaking apart with those type of, when the conversation goes that way, it ends. We just need these children to have a voice. So if you have one, and if you care to use it, if you care about the youth of this generation, if you care about these children, be the voice for them. Come out and protect them. Because what you got to remember, if you have children right now, and you know about this situation, you already know, okay, I'm going to be on guard. I'm going to make sure my child isn't checking out this inappropriate material. But what about those other children that don't have that parent to protect them and stand in the void, or have the time because they're too busy working 2 jobs? There's children out there that don't have somebody to look out for them.
True.
These children are the ones that fall at risk of coming across this material that can affect them poorly. And then these are going to be the children, that you said you have an 11-year-old. These children that are not being protected, or they're, because for whatever reason, these children are going to be adults with your 11-year-old.
Good point.
And what it comes down to is this: if you care and you have a voice and you don't use it, how do you expect your children to use their voice and to stand up when they know something is wrong, regardless of religion, regardless of personal beliefs, regardless of politics? How do you expect your child to stand up and face when they know something is wrong if you can't do it yourself? And that's what I want to leave with. I think that's the last thing that I have to say about that. So September 11th, Monday at 9 a.m. I know some people are going to be upset. Don't come angry. Just come with a heart that's just concerned.
And I would also like to add, find out who your county commissioners are. This vote was so slim. It literally took the judge to be the tie-breaking vote. That's how close this vote was. Get in contact with your county commissioners. Let them know that you're aware. Let them know that you're their constituents. Let them know that, hey, this is how I want you to act.
They work for us.
Exactly. They work for us. So we need to let them know, hey, this is how I want you to vote on this. And if not, I'll vote you out.
Exactly. And I think it would be in everybody's best interest that somewhere within your Facebook that you post links so that people can easily find an email to their commissioner, and that they can let them know, hey, this is how I feel, and I'm a voter, and if you don't protect these children, then I'm not going to vote for you. You get to lose that seat up there, because like my husband said earlier, we are the government. We are the people, for the people, by the people. And we're the ones when it comes to a community, we're the ones that have to, we have to use our voice. We have to.
Totally agree. Hold on real quick. Okay. And with that, great. Thank you for sharing this with us. Like I said, I'm kind of in and out with the stuff that's happening with the library, but I know I've been keeping my eye on it. Me and Christy, I'm glad you explained it the way you did, because I wanted our people to know about it and to make their own informed decision. Real quick, what are the names of the people that are on this that are going to vote? Can you give the names real quick, if you don't mind?
Sure. So
County commissioners.
So the county commissioners, we have Jeff Summers. And he abstained from voting. That means he did not vote.
Wow.
He just kept his hand down. He didn't vote yes or vote no to move the books.
Do you know what district he is? Or what side of town is he on? Do you know that? I know he ain't south side. I know mine's Luis. I need to talk to old Luis, but go ahead.
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
As far as
that's fine.
What side of the town, but I know that Commissioner Scott Ramsey, he is in precinct 1.
Okay.
And he voted against relocating these books. Jeff Summers is in precinct 2, and he abstained from voting, meaning he did not vote yes or no to move those books.
Okay.
And then County Commissioner Luis Sanchez, he's in precinct 3. He abstained from voting. He did not vote to move the books or not to. And then we have Diane Anderson. She's precinct 4, and she's the one who voted in favor of relocating those books. And then Judge Terry Johnson, he was also in favor of relocating those books. But
he only votes whenever it's a tie, though.
Yes, he voted because it was a tie.
Shame, and I have to say this: shame on those people that abstained, because that means
middle of the fence.
That means that you never know what they stand for. At least be true to what you say you are, who you are, and what you're for, and don't let your people down by not at least having a vote.
Yeah, I give props to the people the ones that voted, to keep the books. At least they let us know what they stand for, right? Golly.
That's what I'm saying. The ones that didn't, the ones that abstained, I look at worse than the ones that voted to leave the books where they were, because, this will not be remembered when it comes election time again that they voted, against something or for something. It just is going to show that they didn't vote, that they didn't have an opinion. Well, no, they had an opinion. They just didn't. They didn't want to politically put it out there what that opinion was.
Wow.
Yeah, it lets us know. It doesn't let us know where what side the coin's going to fall on. So it's we got to keep an eye on that. And as voters, as everybody, I encourage everybody to vote, not just in the presidential election, but within your own county. That's how you get the right people doing what you want for your community. And so like my husband was saying, it was the judge that had to break the tie, because it was a tie. And even though the judge broke the tie and those books were ordered to be pulled,
they didn't.
They still have to have a meeting this coming Monday. And
why?
Just because. So I guess
they got,
like you said, there's people
connected.
Were they? Was it to review to see if they felt it appropriate that they be completely removed?
Well, let me ask you. What was the reason they gave?
They gave for the upcoming meeting
Yeah.
on September 11th.
What's the reason?
It's just to talk. It's just to talk about the books again, to figure out what's going on with the book situation. And the judge has already the judge already ruled. Why isn't everybody just, okay, well, we're keeping the kids away from this material. Let's just get it done. But no, they're having another meeting
And why
this month.
wasn't it done whenever it was supposed to have been done though, correct, by a certain date, and it was not. Am I correct with that?
Yes, they were told to do it. It was August 14th is when they were told to go ahead and
that's the reason the volunteers had to get involved.
So look, I'm sorry, Christy, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that's the reason that the volunteers had to get involved, is because the librarian or librarian's aides, whoever, didn't have time to get it done, or we just don't know why it wasn't done, right?
Yeah, we don't know. Maybe they were shorthanded. Maybe we just don't know.
Wow.
And real quick, I'm trying to pull this up though, but look, Cynthia says here, this is very interesting because before we end this, y'all, look, says, I originally voiced my comments on the MRT article and I ended up getting attacked. When I did, I got blocked from posting and warned by Facebook I couldn't post for 3 days. Midland Reporter Telegram will block you. Midland Reporter Telegram didn't give all this info or any correct info, to be honest, and they made a post and they even made an article, probably came out in the paper, basically slandering these concerned citizens. They were asked to go help pull these books they were already ordered to be pulled. And the local news paper in my town made a slandering hit job article and post, I believe, against them, didn't give all the correct facts. And there's people calling these people every name in the book. And like Cynthia just said, if she goes and comments, MRT's blocking you. And then all the people in the article, in the post, they're calling you every name in the book. This is freaking crazy.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought this up because, I mean, absolutely. Whenever you read those articles, and we didn't even touch on this, these people are calling them fascists, racist, bigots, burning book mom clubs, every name in the book. And the MRT wants the list and the addresses and the phone numbers of the volunteers that were there to help pull those books. It was court ordered to pull the books and off the shelf, and then what was going to be decided where they were going to be moved. But these people want the volunteers' names. Why is it like so hostile?
I don't know. It's the Midland Reporter Telegram. When I read it, it really did make it seem like just a bunch of crazy volunteers went up there and just did whatever they wanted based on their own beliefs, based on how they feel about personal things. And once that narrative got out there, those volunteers, they were dragged. I saw it happening. A friend started sharing stuff and telling me how I had family contact me from Colorado, from San Antonio, just telling me, hey, what's going on over there? And I was blown away. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for my community as a whole. And I just don't even understand. I don't understand why the picture had to be. What the real article should have said was this. It should have said, concerned citizens, volunteers of the library, go and assist the library staff in pulling books to be reviewed by the library board advisory and the commissioner's court. That's it. That's all that I was told that happened that day. And those volunteers, well, all I can say is God bless them, and to keep fighting the good fight. Keep going and keep working. Keep doing what you got to do for your community and for those that don't have somebody pulling for them.
And real quick, hold on. Chrissy said something very interesting. Chrissy, that's quoted in the article that they want the names of the volunteers?
Yes. So whenever I was tagged in the MRT, post, it was quoted in there that the names, the addresses, and the phone number. No, I'm sorry, the names and the phone numbers of these volunteers needed to be divulged, and that I think I can't remember how many said that they would not divulge their names and phone numbers. And I think 4 people said, yeah, I'll tell you who I am and where I'm from. But yeah, the MRT is the one that quoted all of that.
Yeah, and so I don't understand why the Midland Reporter Telegram wants to villainize these volunteers. I don't know why they want to drag these people. What are you trying to do when you put that information out? Like, are you so desperate for somebody to go and read your just your articles, to follow, to read your Facebook post, that they would want to, when I say you, I'm not talking about you guys, but are they the ones, like, what is their motive in putting out information on those volunteers? What are they trying to accomplish? What are they trying to accomplish? It just looks like they just want a crap show to unfold so that they can be in the middle of it.
So were you shocked whenever you saw in the MRT that they were requesting that about the volunteers' names and phone numbers and all of that?
Well, if you read the article without knowing nothing, it makes sense. Like, okay, well, who are these crazy women that are just going into our public libraries? And well, it makes sense. But when you actually know the facts, it's messed up.
Well, it says right here. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just that. Yes, sir.
Okay. What it says right here, I'm gonna clarify real quick. On Friday, Precinct 4. Because someone's saying that this what's on the docket is about the volunteers. Somebody's just posted that or commented that. Let me read this real quick. It says, where is it? I just had this comment. Somebody said that's what the meeting is Monday about. I don't know how correct that is. Okay, the agenda item is dealing with the volunteers' actions at the library.
Okay, well, if the meeting is about the actions of the volunteers at the library, that's silly, because the volunteers that I know of were there volunteering for the library.
Okay, and then now let me read the article, the part from the article here. On Friday, Precinct 4 Commissioner Diane Anderson sent the Reporter Telegram an email stating that because of nasty comments that were made on a post on the Reporter Telegram Facebook page from the original story earlier this week. Oh, there's another story. I didn't get that one. 6 of the women are afraid of attacks if their names were to be released. While 4 of the women gave permission to release their names publicly, Anderson said she does not believe it's best to provide their names. Guys, this is going into a whole other situation here with this, is this a dog whistle for them to harass? Anyways, I digress, y'all. We'll get more into this as we go, but this is wild. And the reporting that the Midland Reporter Telegram has done, I've called them out for a lot of their fake news that they push locally and even nationally, but shame on them. This is wild what we're hearing about by MRT, I believe slander and the misinfo they're sharing. With that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Whenever I first read that article, whenever I got tagged in that article, if I wouldn't have had the backstory, exactly the way y'all said, the way that I looked at it is that some crazy people were coming to burn books and like take the books out of the library and things like that. It never mentioned any of the facts. It never mentioned any of the, the meetings, the March 13th, I think August 14th, any of those. None of that was ever mentioned. It was just about these crazy people that came and took these books off the shelves.
Right. And I had people reach out to me that are some of the people that volunteered, and they just don't know what happened. They're, like I said, they said they went in with good intentions and got train wrecked by MRT and whatever false narrative that they wanted to put out there. I don't know who MRT is conspiring with to create such a false narrative. I can only imagine.
And do they do the same thing with CASA volunteers? The courts are always asking for volunteers, or there's always volunteers for children's groups, with legal proceedings and stuff like that. Do those people that volunteer for that, do they want their names and numbers and all of that? It doesn't make sense to me. I've just never seen such a train wreck in all of my life.
Yeah, I think that they're trying to create a false narrative and so that somebody can be the hero of this whole situation. And these are the people that are trying to discriminate against this or that, and I'm going to be the one to make sure that
And
discrimination doesn't happen.
maybe it's truly a fear tactic, just looking down that maybe they'll get enough people that just don't want to get involved, and that don't want to come into the library and do anything, and it can just be ran independently.
Well,
Well,
I know for a fact, if you go back and you watch the August 14th court hearing, you can see that the library is no longer a member of the American Library Association
well,
because that the woman in charge of the ALA is a self-proclaimed Marxist. So I know that the public, I know that that there is at least one. I know that there is at least one commissioner on that court that is not letting this go, that is fighting. And right now, all we know about are those family, the parents and the concerned adults that just know right now. If you if this gets any more out of hand, it's going to get worse when more people find out how
yes.
ridiculous it's been for somebody
But
just to
you
follow.
but you know what? I think that they're doing exactly what they wanted to do with this. We're completely not talking about the topic at hand, really, honestly. We are not talking about just moving these books to a safe place. We're talking about, you know, everything but. And I think that that's their whole agenda is to side rail everything so that it takes your focus off of the thing that we're supposed to be getting done, which is moving those books to a safe place.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
100%.
And I agree with you 100%. That's exactly what I think too. They're missing the point.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Hold on real quick. You resetting this. Okay, so with that, y'all, we kind of went off in a tangent. This is a wild situation, y'all. We're gonna keep you updated because I'm involved. That's all I gotta say about that. So y'all already know how we rock over here. Final words.
Yep.
If y'all can just give us a final words before we end this live. Thank y'all for sharing this. If anything, I want my people across the nation, they watch this now and on the repeat, to know that, you know what, this is what you're supposed to do in your own town. Even if we're combating against local Midlanders, our own people that live here also. Hey, this is what a society does when we have grievances, right? We should be standing up for what we believe in. They stand up for what they believe in. We're doing the same thing. And if anything, I hope this inspires somebody in their town when they try to push filth to your children. This is what you have to do to combat it. Right? I hope we inspire somebody today. So go ahead, ma'am and your husband, if y'all just give a final word before we end the live, the floor is yours. Say what you got to say to the people across the nation. Go ahead.
So yeah, again, thank you. Just thank you guys for the opportunity to speak on your guys' platform. Again, we wish everybody here locally in Midland, Texas, to get in contact with your county commissioners. Let them know how you feel about the matter. If you can show up and speak on September 11th at 9 o'clock at the county commissioner's office, please do so. And with that, I'll let my wife get the last word.
What I want to say is, if you don't have the voice and if you don't have the time to go on Monday, then when it comes to voting for your precinct, make sure that you vote for whatever commissioner is going to be speaking along and align with what you care about. And I just want to also remind everybody, silence is the same thing as no action. If you feel so strongly about something, but you can't do anything about it because you're afraid, you need to stop, and you need to think about it, and you need to ask yourself, if I don't do anything now, what does the future look like for not only my children, but the other children that they're going to be adults with? Like, what does that future look like? And if you can say, I can sit back and I'm not going to do anything, I'll just let other people worry about it. Well, then that just means that that just means that you really have to stop and you have to figure it out. You have to think about what you would want the future for your children to look like. And what it all comes down to, it doesn't matter race, gender, politics, religion. Children should not be around pornographic, obscene material.
Yeah.
And that's just what I believe.
Okay. And with that, y'all, we'll see y'all Commissioner's Court, Midland, Texas, 9 a.m. You know I'm gonna be there, and stand for something or fall for anything. Thank y'all for sharing this crazy story, what's happening in my town of Midland, Texas. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, we're gonna get out of here. Chrissy, thanks for joining me. To my guests, thank y'all. God bless everybody watching.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you all, and hope that everything goes in favor of the children.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
Amen.
right. Have
God
a good
bless.
night. Bye-bye.